On Osrc News at 7, Ondo State Government trains coaches in STEM education for improved learning. Federal Government launches 50 million naira grant for student startups. Court rejects Nnamdi Kanu's request of transfer from Sokoto prison. From the foreign scene, Indonesians in flood-hit region face worsening disease as death toll rises.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Ade Binkpe Akindele. Ondo State Government says it will continue to strengthen STEM education across primary and secondary schools through regular training and reorientation of teachers, now referred to as coaches. This assurance was given at a one-day coaches reorientation workshop in Akure. Osrc's Zimo Ibemi completes the story, and it's presented by Sunday Kolawole.
Efforts to deepen science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM learning in Ondo State took center stage as educators, stakeholders and facilitators converged on Akure for a one-day coaches reorientation workshop. Representing the Administrative Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology in Ondo State, Mr. Ige, a director in the ministry, Mrs. Theresa Iwozu, reaffirmed government's commitment to strengthening STEM at foundational levels.
So we have been in this through JET competitions, through science Olympic competitions. So everything pertaining to science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM, Ondo State has been there and have been winning laurels. So by the grace of God, the present administration the Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa is ever ready to support us. From the look of our budget for this year, he has prepared for that.
She noted that the state is prioritizing regular training of teachers now identified as STEM coaches to ensure they are equipped with modern tools and techniques needed to improve students' learning outcomes. The workshop, organized by Science Sports Services, provided a platform for coaches to exchange ideas and sharpen their skills in line with global best practices. Program and Events Officer, Mr. Motosho Abobari, who represented the National Tournament Director, Mr. Adewumi Odunaike, appreciated participants' dedication.
Because of their teamwork spirits, they are not resilient, they are not giving up, they go extra mile in making research. Like we have the Coach of the Year from Ondo State. We also have from Oyo State, because we see their exceptional participation.
He assured that the organization will continue working with government and schools to promote quality STEM education and elevate students' performance in competitions. Highlight of the event was a presentation of an award to the best performing school in the last STEM tournament, an initiative organizers say is aimed at inspiring excellence and healthy competition among learners.
It's a token, and we know it's going.
Dennis Ibiniolapo Ibikunle has emerged as the new chairman of Niger Delta Youth Movement Ondo State Chapter. He was unanimously elected by 54 delegates drawn from Ilaje and SL, the local government areas, during the movement's election in Akure. Osrc's Adewumi Taiwo reports that the exercise was peaceful.
The atmosphere at the ADP Ministry of Agriculture, Akure, is energetic as dignitaries, youth leaders, and accredited delegates converge to elect a new executive for the Niger Delta Youth Movement Ondo State Chapter.
Number 1, Agbejoye Adetoye.
The process was orderly, with the registration and voting coordinated by an independent electoral committee. From the three state constituencies of Ilaje and Eseodo local government areas, 54 delegates cast their votes, leading to the emergence of Dennis Ibinuolapo Ibikunle as chairman. Chairman of the Electoral Committee, Iyang Enefiong, announced the results after delegates completed voting, unveiling Ibikunle and other elected officers.
We have candidate A, who is Mr. Ibikunle Ibinuolapo. Ibikunle Dennis Ibinuolapo. He has 35 votes, while Akimbami Solusodi, who contested with him, has 11 votes. I hereby declare Ibikunle Dennis Ibinuolapo as
the Odoka of Obe-Ogbaro and chairman of the board of trustees, Obafemi Ogbaro, and former Ilaje local government chairman, Banji Okuomo, monitored the exercise and commended the youth for sustaining peace throughout the process. They encouraged them to continue promoting unity and stability in Ondo State and across the Niger Delta region.
This is my state. All of you are my children. I owe all of you. No fashion.
My happiness extends to the fact that it was an election peacefully conducted in a peaceful atmosphere where the youth stakeholders from the oil-producing belt of Ondo State, I mean Ilaje and Eseodo, constituting the Niger Delta region of Ondo State, they were able to come out to democratically elect new leadership that will pilot the affairs of the organization.
In his acceptance speech, newly elected chairman Dennis Ibikunle said the election was significant as it provides a platform for youth to express their concerns and profile solutions to issues affecting the Niger Delta.
First of all, I want to appreciate the state governor, Honorable Lucky Orimisan Ayedatiwa, because he provides an environment that is conducive for the election. Every of our members knew that before this election, there were rancors on ground, there were issues, there were agitation here and there. To the glory of God, we put that to bed because that is the first exercise. I extend hand of comradeship to my colleague who contested the election with me, and I want to appreciate him for fighting spirit.
A board member of the association, Alan Showore, said the priority was to ensure a free, fair and a credible election that reflects the will of Niger Delta youths in Ondo State, urging the new executive to lead with integrity and purpose.
As youth, vibrant youth, to ensure that all the progress, the development, the initiative of government in their area is protected without any interruption, to continue to support their community development services and see to the peaceful ambience.
As the executives take on their mandate, expectations are high that their energy and commitment will translate into meaningful progress for Niger Delta communities. Adewumi Taiwo, Osrc News.
Nigeria's National Information Technology Development Agency has issued a fresh cybersecurity advisory warning that newly discovered vulnerabilities in OpenAI's latest large language models could expose users to serious data leakage risk. In a notice released through its ex-officio handle, NIDA's Computer Emergency Readiness and Response Team said 7 vulnerabilities were identified in OpenAI's GPT 4.0 and GPT-5 series models, enabling attackers to manipulate GPT through indirect prompt injections hidden in seemingly harmless online content. CERT further notes that some of the flaws allowed threat actors to bypass safety systems using trusted domains or exploit markdown rendering weaknesses to hide harmful input. One of the more concerning issues is the potential for long-term manipulation. The agency warns that attackers could even poison ChatGPT's memory so that injected instructions persist across future interactions, raising alarms for both individual users and enterprise systems. It warns that vulnerabilities could lead to unauthorized actions, information leakage, manipulated outputs, and long-term behavioral influence. A viral video showing an individual mixing a large quantity of palm oil with dye has sparked widespread outrage, leading to urgent calls for intervention and regulatory action from the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. Medical professionals and concerned consumers are warning that this practice, aimed at mimicking the rich red hue of high-quality palm oil, poses several health risks, including cancer. Citizens are pleading with NAFDAC to launch immediate investigations and track down the culprit featured in the video. Calls were also made for broader action, including probing the processing of other food items like tomato paste, vegetable oil, and stockfish, which consumers allege might also be subjected to similar adulteration. We take a break now. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.
Beautiful is your name. Wonderful is what you are to me. Eba mi kira fún mama mi. Orisha mi ja o. Kò sí láyé.
Every mom, a treasure beyond measure. 3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
Thank you for rejoining us. For feedback and comments, you can watch us live on our website, www.osrc.ng, or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel, OSRC TV, Undo. Now for the rest of the news, young people have been urged to remain diligent and uphold the teachings of Allah in their daily lives. This advice was given at the graduation ceremony of the Darus Sunnah Center for Islamic and Arabic Studies. The event, which produced 26 graduates, including the son of OSRC staff, Kamoruddin Ishola, brought together families, friends, Islamic scholars, and well-wishers. Blessing Obe reports.
It was a colorful celebration as students, parents, and loved ones converged for the graduation of 26 students who have completed their Islamic and Arabic studies. Proprietor Darus Sunnah Center, Lukman Idris Shekoni, described the institution as a nurturing ground for future leaders, urging students to remain committed and upright.
The graduating students, my advice for them is that they should fear Almighty Allah who created them. They should make sure they contribute to the development of our nation to guarantee security.
Chairman of the occasion, Mahmoud Adeshino, highlighted the center's role in deepening Islamic knowledge.
The only way for you to appreciate Allah, for you to worship Allah, is to learn Arabic and Islamic studies. It is a commandment from Allah that we must learn it.
Graduating students, including the son of an OSRC staff, expressed joy and encouraged their peers to persevere in their studies.
It's one of the happiest days in my life because I was and I'm still delighted because I completed my final year. My message to my fellow colleagues is that they should stick to their education, no matter how hard it is. Allah will still help them too.
I firstly give the gratitude to my parents and the Almighty Allah first that helped me, because this journey is not easy. That is very complex, and I thank God that I was able to complete and accomplish this moment of congratulations.
The journey has been filled up with happiness because all of us will have what we tend to, what our heart inclines to. And this one, my heart really inclines to it a lot. So as I was in the journey, everything is filled with barakah. Everything is filled with joy.
Parents also shared their excitement at witnessing their children attain this milestone.
I feel honored, I feel happy, I feel fulfilled. Having spent like 9 years in this school, I'm very happy, and I pray that God Almighty Allah will continue to flourish him.
I feel happy. Yes, this is the first of its kind that I'll be witnessing in my lifetime. So I feel very, very comfortable and very, very happy about it.
The ceremony featured the presentation of gifts and certificates to the graduating students. Blessing Obi, Osrc News.
The Minister of Education, Tuji Alausa, has launched the Student Venture Capital Grant, offering Nigerian students the opportunity to access up to 50 million naira investment funding for their businesses. According to Alausa, the launch, which took place in Abuja on Monday, is part of President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda to empower youth and foster innovation. He said the government initiative is designed to support student-driven innovations and startups through funding, mentorship, and visibility. The Federal High Court in Abuja has declined the grant an ex parte motion filed by the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, seeking to be transferred from the Sokoto Correctional Center to another custodial facility closer to the Federal Capital Territory. Justice James Omotosho refused the request, stating that Kanu's application could not be granted by way of an ex parte motion. Kanu was convicted for terrorism-related offenses on November 20 and subsequently sentenced to life imprisonment, a verdict his family has rejected and vowed to appeal. Following his sentencing, Kanu was taken to the Sokoto Correctional Center to serve his sentence after the court held that the Kuje Custodial Center in Abuja would not be suitable for him. He, however, filed a motion before the trial court requesting that he be transferred from the Sokoto facility to any other custodial center closer to Abuja, suggesting Suleja in Niger State or Kefi Custodial Center in Nasarawa State. The court adjourned the matter until January 27, 2026 to enable the applicant serve the necessary parties and for the application to be heard. The presidency has described Nigeria's response to the attempted coup in the Republic of Benin as a demonstration of President Bola Tinubu's leadership in promoting peace and constitutional order across West Africa. It was reported that soldiers operating under the Military Committee for Foundation, led by Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigre, briefly seized the state television station in Cotonou, announcing the overthrow of President Patrice Talon's administration. However, the Benin government said the plotters were quickly dislodged by loyalist forces. Reacting to the development in a statement, Special Assistant to the President on social media, Dada Olusegun, said Tinubu's actions demonstrate a firm commitment to constitutional order in the sub-region. Olusegun said by standing firmly with Benin's elected authorities, Tinubu ensured that Nigeria continued to lead by example, advocating dialogue, stability, and constitutionalism. Moving to the West African country of Côte d'Ivoire, President Alassane Ouattara has been sworn in for a fourth term as leader after elections in which his two main opponents were excluded from the ballot. Ouattara was elected with nearly 90% of the votes in October 25th election, though turnout was relatively at 50.1% low. The president, who has led Ivory Coast since a violently disputed election in 2010, vowed to loyally defend the constitution at his inauguration. Ouattara's two main opponents, Laurent Gbagbo and Tidjane Thiam, were excluded from the ballot. Moving to Senegal, Victims of political violence that shook Senegal for 3 years until 2024 gathered on Sunday for what the government calls a Matthias and Victims Day. The meeting, led by the nation's Prime Minister, aimed to address compensation, psychological support, and justice for those affected. Adewumi Taiwo has more.
Members the moment it decided to run towards the sound of commotion in the distance out of curiosity, unaware of the dangers ahead. It was just a boy caught on mobile phone. Security forces clashing with protesters ahead of the 2024 presidential elections. Babade is pulled into the center of their confrontation. After beating him, they used Babadi into a human shield, a violation of Article 15 of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. Voice in the crowd shouts, "Stop, guys. Don't throw any rocks." The boy is scared. 3 years later, fear has turned to anger.
I was only 13. The police grabbed me and used me as their shield. The tear gas left me with severe sinus problems. Sometimes I can hardly breathe, and despite everything, I've received nothing. I just ask not to be forgotten.
To not be forgotten became the rallying cry for Lucy Singh. We met her in 2022. She fought for the release of more than 1,100 people lingering in jail during the political violence. She says, "The fight is not over."
To be honest, I'm losing confidence. Since 2024, nothing has changed legally. We haven't seen any progress. The same practices continue. We fought against this, but it keeps happening. It's time for the government to step in. If there are flaws in the justice system, then the executive must take responsibility.
They were eventually freed under an amnesty deal with the former president. A gesture meant to be the closing act of a political drama that's still unfolding. Absent from the event is President Jammeh Faye, among with Prime Minister. They spent months in jail before coming to power on a promise to deliver justice. Backstage, a growing rift between them has stalled that promise.
Yes, there is a problem between us today. It's real and we must not hide from it. But he took great risks for this movement, and whatever our disagreements, the fight for justice must continue.
Babi has not lost hope, holding on to his father and still chasing the justice he was denied. Adewumi Taiwo, Osrc News.
Moving to Asia, Indonesians in flood-hit region face worsening disease and overstretched medical care as cyclone-driven floods and landslides on Sumatra have left more than 940 people dead and hundreds missing. Victoria Olawale reports.
As clean-up operations begin on the Indonesia island of Sumatra, worries are growing over the spread of disease. It comes after devastating cyclone-induced flood and landslides hit the highland this month. More than 940 people are now confirmed dead and hundreds more are missing. The health ministry said people are now suffering from diarrhea, fever and myalgia or muscle pain after the disaster. As the only hospital in northern region of Aceh Tamiang, patients and medical workers have reported worsening diseases there. Witnesses described the medical equipment covered in mud, syringes scattered on the floor, and medicine have been swept away in the flooding. Nwayati is a nurse who says the hospital has been nearly paralyzed.
People know me as a nurse. When I couldn't do something, it felt devastating. I can only give the available medicine. This is an extraordinary disaster. Everything is destroyed.
She also says that workers tried but failed to save ventilators and intensive care units for babies from rising flood waters. She adds at least one of the 6 babies there died. Limited land access has made it hard for medical supplies to reach the area. It also affected aid and clean water deliveries, which have slowly begun to trickle in. This woman says she's been eating rice that she could only wash in muddy water. She adds that she and her family haven't had access to clean water for more than a week. Local officials have called on the government in Jakarta to declare a national emergency, free up additional funds for rescue and relief efforts. President Prabowo Subianto, who visited the area on Sunday, has ordered authorities to fix bridges and dams and offer debt reliefs to farmers with state-backed loans. Victoria Olawale, OSRC News.
To end the news tonight, here again are the main points. The Ondo State government says it remains committed to strengthening STEM education in primary and secondary schools through continuous training and reorientation of teachers. Minister of Education, Tuja Lausa, has launched the Student Venture Capital Grant, offering Nigerian students access to up to 50 million naira in investment funding to support innovative business ideas. The Federal High Court in Abuja has declined an ex parte motion by detained IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, seeking his transfer from Sokoto Correctional Center to a facility closer to Abuja. Lastly, more than 940 people have been confirmed dead, with hundreds still missing after cyclone-induced floods and landslides ravaged communities on Indonesia's Sumatra Island. Thank you for being there tonight. Good night.